weary travelers coming to a foreign shore, seeking freedom and a new life. Risking all, fearful of what they'd find, they discovered a people, a generous people, who helped them adapt and survive in the harsh, wild new land. The travelers brought their culture with them. They thought it was superior. Convinced their own ways were better, the newcomers felt justified in taking control of the land. It was now their land. They made decisions for the host people, who soon became captives in what was once their land. They not only were socially captive, but traditional tribal beliefs held the people spiritually captive. Even well-meaning Christian missionaries placed greater emphasis on changing the people's lifestyle than on sharing the gospel of Christ. Today, the misunderstandings between these two people remain largely unchanged. Cultural differences continue to divide, but God is at work in the hearts of the people of both cultures, bringing unity, freedom, and a new direction. For years, successful Christian efforts overseas have been linked to the ability of the missionary to learn the language and adapt to the culture of the people he was sent to reach. This concept was largely forgotten with the attempts to reach the Native American. We are having to relearn those sound missionary concepts and apply them here in our own nation. To begin to understand the Native people, you need to gain insight into their culture.
Unless you can really sit behind the wheel of a Lakota man and look through his eyes and get the feeling of it. You hear the birds sing, and you feel the wind blowing through or hear the wind blowing through the trees or the grass across the plains, and there's something about it. You think of God.
The values that are very similar within our Indian culture, which is respect, courage, bravery, and generosity. Those are the four main values that are taught within our Lakota culture, and we just seem as a Christian school to capitalize on these attributes.
Wesleyan Native American Ministries began as a dream in the hearts of people like John Kearns and Neil Phipps. In the mid-1930s, they held revival services in the American Legion Hall on the Pine Ridge Reservation. The first Lakota chapel was started there. In the mid-1940s, J.F. Simpson, Dakota District Superintendent, responded to the tremendous spiritual need of the Indian people living in tents along the creek banks in Rapid City. Sioux Chapel was born through Simpson's sacrifice and efforts. The chapel was shepherded for many years by Reverend and Mrs. John Mickley. In 1946, a Christian training school for Indian young people was opened with just 7 students. As the news of Brainerd Indian School traveled, more applications came in. Wesleyan Indian Missions was established in 1961 to coordinate church planting efforts by Brainerd graduates and other reservation workers. The 60s and 70s were characterized by growth. Several chapels begun as independent projects became Wesleyan. Others were planted by people who knew the great spiritual need. Jerry and Johanna Yellowhawk, having pastored in Pierre, were sent to pioneer a new work at Eagle Butte, in Jerry's home area on the Cheyenne River Reservation. New church buildings were constructed at Pierre, Fort Thompson, Kyle, and Rapid City. Today we have trained, capable pastors and district leaders emerging to take responsibility for the task God has given us to do.
As missionaries, we are involved in a partnership, a working together, planning and guiding this growing Native church. In the past 5 years alone, we've seen tremendous growth that continues today.
As the church grows, the need for quality trained pastors increases.
I think more and more as we see our young converts, and they are asking about a place where they can go to learn more about the Lord and about the Word, that this is a responsibility that is ours.
The Brainerd Bible School develops adult church leaders. God is calling Native men and women to serve Him by building His kingdom among their own tribal people. Bible courses, study skills, church management, counseling, and sermon preparation are taught as they discover the new direction that only Christ can bring. Discipleship of these adult students prepares them to stand spiritually, and vocational training in basic carpentry, electrical, plumbing, and auto mechanics helps build self-esteem as well as develop skills vital to living on remote reservations. With both lay and ministerial training, the Adult Bible College program serves as a logical next step for students graduating from the academies. The Brainerd Indian Schools, now in 4 locations, are becoming an increasingly successful means of outreach. These day schools at Pine Ridge, Fort Thompson, Rapid City, and Pierre are located right in Native American communities.
We are thrilled to see the positive results of these schools. For example, in the 1989-90 school year, more students actually completed the year than initially were enrolled in the fall. This compares to an annual student attrition rate of up to 60% in the former boarding school program.
Another result of the community schools is the improved student return rate, with more children returning year after year. And there is improved overall academic performance of the students, too.
Most important, we have seen lasting spiritual growth. Many students have made a major spiritual impact in the lives of their families. The schools have been successful in involving parents in the life of the school and church. Doors of opportunity are open to us for expansion. The first steps have already been taken in Rapid City to establish a Christian Ministry Center. On completion, it will incorporate an enlarged Sioux Chapel as local church, the Sioux Christian Academy accommodating up to 150 students, the Adult Bible School, and the mission headquarters. Plans call for a 3-phase development of the present site, a city block strategically located in the community.
The location is right, the time is right, and the need is right. It's exciting to see property and funding begin to come in. The Lord is blessing this new direction. Yes, these are exciting but urgent days. God is moving among the Native people. And God has given Wesleyan Native American Ministries a fresh new direction. We need to respond to the challenge now. Join us in the vision of sharing the good news, joy, and peace found only in Jesus Christ. Join us in helping the new believers become active members of their church. Join us in discipling them so they in turn can reach out to their brothers and sisters. We need you. You can pray. Pray for District Superintendent Jerry Yellowhawk, School Principal Ted Tenfingers, and other Native leaders, that God would encourage them, protect them, and mightily use them in directing this growing church. Pray for both Native and missionary pastors like Don Wolf as they face the challenges of reservation ministry. Pray for the staff of the 4 Brainerd Indian Schools at Pine Ridge, Fort Thompson, Rapid City, and Pierre. As this key ministry expands into new areas, additional trained, committed, and spirit-filled workers are needed. Pray that God will give us clear vision and strength for the task, yet a sensitivity and deepening love for the Native American. You can give. Sponsor a student at one of the Christian academies. Your regular gifts will give a child quality primary and secondary education, along with the opportunity to learn about new life in Jesus Christ. Native worker support is a very real need. With no home church or district, these faithful workers minister without a support base. They need your investment in their ministry. Missionary support for pastors and teachers is needed now more than ever before. God is moving. There are more requests for reservation missionary workers than we are able to meet. And the cities are calling. 7 major western cities with significant native populations have been targeted for church planting in the 1990s. We can send missionaries to them with your support. Come join us. Both short-term and full-time missionaries are needed now. Bible school instructors, pastors, teachers, and building and maintenance workers. Help with the construction on a work team, or be a tent maker missionary. Doctors, nurses, and teachers can work at a government clinic or school while holding Bible studies or helping in church planting on their own time. God wants to use you in the work of Wesleyan Native American Ministries.
Finally, my Christian brothers, it is only as we work together we can find this hope in Jesus Christ among our Native American people.